I want to know your opinion
Yeah.
on if you believe that, the composable approach to digital commerce, that whole composable tech stack, is that right for B2B? Because the promises of things like freedom and flexibility and future proofness, to me, I'm going, wouldn't that allow them to sort of level the playing field a little bit quicker and make up for some of this lost time for some of these laggards that are out there?
Yeah, I think it's it's interesting. Composable is it's a really important development, I think, for e-commerce and for B2B companies too. I think it has not only promise, but it's being realized that the flexibility that that approach provides. And for those of you who don't know, composable is, it's really a flexible way to really commerce enable your all the touch points across your ecosystem, all this different systems and everything else that you have. It's more of a flexible, they call API driven approach, which is you're able to more effectively tie into existing systems, but also in many cases more nimbly launch e-commerce in for certain use cases. So absolutely, Alex. I think it has. Every business though is different, right? So when I think about how does a business make an architectural decision around should I go down the path of composable commerce, you really do have to look at that business and understand what their capabilities are. Are they able to, and do they have a situation where they need to invest? They have all these legacy systems, for example. They need to invest in resources to kind of integrate those. So I think you have to look at the situation of the business, but Composable has an enormous amount of that flexibility built in that will allow, as you say, companies to, pick up and, really to deploy something quickly. Time to market is increasingly, critical to these companies that are way behind on the spectrum. So if you're a company that has many legacy systems, some of the companies I work with, Alexis, they're in many countries, they have many business lines, and they may have many different ERP systems or CMS systems in place already. And you need something that's flexible and composable in those kinds of situations, because you don't want to necessarily have to rip and replace all those systems all at once and put in a big traditional system. That said, there's also ways to use that same composable approach and architecture to quickly launch commerce into, for example, an existing, if you're a traditional manufacturer that has a website that is optimized for content, well, you can put commerce in behind that and start commerce enabling the system you already have in place, or perhaps launch a storefront using an existing template that a e-commerce like a Kibo provides, where you can quickly enable a storefront. So Composable really has so many advantages for companies of all different sizes. So I definitely, with every time I talk to a company today about how should they think about launching an e-commerce platform, and what the foundation should look like, they need to have Composable in the mix as one of the approaches. So to answer your question, yes, I think, but every business is different. Every business has different, needs, B2B, B2C. You've got to start by really understanding what your objectives are, what your customers want, and understanding your own capabilities to develop and deploy systems and what you need to connect to. So anyway, there's a lot of complexity in that.
Right.
I have a whole chapter in the book around this, by the way.
I was going to say, yeah, it's not going to be a straightforward answer, and I'm sure we could talk for an entire,
Yeah.
2 hours on that too.